It is May the 20th, 2019, and Bitcoin is making what could be an obvious double top formation, or it could be the parabolic continuation. Let's dig into our indicators and see what they're telling us. This is the 24 hours of Bitcoin. You can pause the video to read through the full disclaimer. It's not financial advice, just market observation. Before we jump in, a little community announcement. We are partnering with Altcoin Fantasy to start our sponsored trading contest on June 17th. And if you're interested in jumping in there with a good trading system that is simple to do, be sure to grab a copy of our free chapter from our book in the link down in the description below. Let's jump into prices because this is looking at what could be an obvious 1, 2, 3 double top formation shaping up. If that's the case, the indicators underneath here should be telling us some divergences that are giving us an indication if this is going to be easing off, or if we're running out of volume, if it's running out of power or not. And that's what our investigation is on this channel, to go over these indicators and observe them so that we can be using them better in our trading. So what we have here is the RSI, and we're looking at the 4-hour bar. It's always good to take a perspective of the longer term and see just sort of how much this has gone up and the volatility that's in the market right now. And then zoom back into that 1-hour view so we can see the 4-hour view, so we can see the double top better. So here's a double top, and the RSI is diverging a little bit down off of that. If we go to the 4-hour bar view, and we're looking at the on balance volume, we can see the same double top, and we see that we don't have as much on balance positive volume as we did on these earlier moves up. That is also a bearish divergence. So let's go to the next indicator and step back to the same time frame. We're looking at the MACD indicator, double top. This is diverging down, but overall this has turned a bit more positive. Now what I want to do is zoom in on the time frame so that we can see what is going on up at the tip here. We're looking at the 1-hour view, looking at the 15-minute view, and trying to see if just at this cutting edge here in this part of the shoulder, if we are catching some support right at the edges here that may say it's going to be holding, or look at this sort of a bearish divergence with a bit of a bullish crossover just at the tip. That's not enough. It may not be enough to hold it. It certainly is supporting the idea that on breaks below this, you should be scaling your position one way or the other. Let's go and check out the on balance volume for that same 15-minute time frame. So we are seeing some pretty good moves here on this last little shoulder of the double top, easing off a bit, easing into some more selling. So if it's breaking below these levels and we're getting more selling, there's your, the first drips off the tip of it for heading downward. So let's zoom into the relative strength index, and it is not as bearish from this moment here right now. So it's, to me, I'm wanting to be protecting myself against the potential for a break lower from here, and I don't want to take action too soon because it still feels like it's bullish to me as we're going through these charts. So here are the 4 charts against the US dollar that we look at. Bitcoin US dollar, USDT, Litecoin US dollar. We can see it's broken higher out of this triangle and it's holding. It's broken higher from this triangle and holding. This triangle now can extend out, and this would be our large ascending wedge triangle, which throughout this whole period, these ascending wedge triangles have set up, and they are really difficult to trade because they come to a top formation all the way along the bottom of the ascending wedge triangle. So right along this stuff is the most difficult for making decisions. And of course, if you're right at the right moment, it's the best time to be making a decision, but often the most difficult because people get whipsawed back and forth. So small positions if you are just starting out on something like this. Here we have Ethereum on the 5-minute bar. So it's moved above our triangle from yesterday. And it's holding above support right now. So should these start breaking below the support, as Bitcoin is breaking below that double top formation, that supports everything. because as I go out to this, we can see this isn't a double top. It is, zoom this out, for Ethereum US dollar, it's not double topping, it's got a lower top here. And so if we go back to Bitfinex, Ethereum US dollar, it is making lower highs here and higher lows all the way along. So it's giving us the 2 points for technical support and resistance that if we're watching Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, we're watching them all to coordinate, because they are, and they are, if they all start breaking below these levels, that's really important. The RSI is a bit weaker here. So we'll go to Bitfinex, ETH US dollar, and we're looking at the on balance volume. Some negative selling here, and on balance over this period, it does appear to be weakening. And in this longer term view as well, we have a lot more buying here on balance than we have some selling, and it didn't get as strong here on this shoulder. So if it's going to go higher and continue up past this trend line, then this on balance volume really must pick up. Ethereum US dollar. So now we're looking at the MACD indicator, and this one is actually giving us a stronger change, a stronger tip right at this early edge that it may be continuing higher. And that's a very small thing to make a trading decision on. So we zoom back out and see where the trend lines are. It's a 1, 2, 3 top formation. A break of this trend line at this 1, 2, 3 top is part of the exit strategy that we talk about in our course, in our community. So we'll continue to watch this because it still looks bullish to me. It still looks like it's going to be continuing on significantly higher. If we go to the 1 year view of Ethereum versus US dollar, it's only just begun out of its 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. It's just started to catch up to what Bitcoin was doing earlier back in April 1st. Bitcoin started this thing and made a wave up. And I believe that Ethereum is doing the same thing now. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. It hasn't been racing up over the last few days. It seems actually to me could be a bear flag. So as I zoom out to the longer term, we can see the April 1st change. Bitcoin dominance is on an uptrend. It broke out of the uptrend and it's pulled back in. And now that it's pulled back in this short term, we'll have to see how this, is it a bear flag that it's setting up and it's going to continue down? If that's the case and we watch this happening, then the alts are going to be mooning as this occurs. We'll watch this occurring with Bitcoin prices, and we'll also keep an eye on this longer term view of the altcoin market cap. Really important for me because of this chart pattern of the breakouts going on here. It really matches the price of Bitcoin. But the volume underneath here is the most important thing. When we compare that to all the history in the past, altcoins are at historical lows and historical high volume. This is, for me, evidence the institutions are purchasing right now as everybody's panic dumping. So we'll see how that all plays out. That about wraps it up for our observations right now. It is inconclusive, and actually not inconclusive. It's right on the edge of action taking because of the bear divergences going on here. It's high alert time, and if you are going to be doing a trade in these areas, start off small, add on to it when you're correct one way or the other, because you can see that it's going this way, then going this way. When it's at the point of the triangle like this, it's the most difficult time. So the smallest little trade to get in and feather your way in and out as this starts to go in a significant direction. But reacting strongly and putting on a big position as it's breaking one way or another right here, right now, is super high risk. Let's continue to watch this through the day. And if you'd like to continually have updates on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and as this complex continues to move, and we're watching it in the 4 against US dollar and the 4 against the price of Bitcoin to see what are the alts actually doing coming to these points. We can see that alts are resisting dropping down here, and These formations make me think that this is going to be blasting higher. I'm a perpetual bull with an eye on the top formations breaking lower in Bitcoin so that I can be taking action on some little bits of my portfolio there. So good luck in your Bitcoin trading. Look forward to watching this one unfold through the day. This is the 24 hours of Bitcoin.